On this episode of Sweet Point Setter Tales, we continue our visit to Triple Creek Outfitters in St. John, Kansas, as we go after some challenging late-season roosters and quail. I'm Wade Kisner, and I grew up hunting upland birds. Nothing's better than chasing a couple English setters called Sweet Lou and Adeline. Lou is a master hunter, and Adeline is quickly learning the trade. These are some of our tales. After a full morning of walking back and forth across that mile by mile field, I think everybody was wore out, including the dogs. Yeah. But boy, was there a lot of bird action. And we saw, what was really cool about it is we just saw hundreds of birds.
But they were too far out.
But they were getting up ahead of us. But it was just fun seeing that many birds, because that's not something we see in Iowa. So after we go back in, we go in and have lunch. Richard always takes care of his clients and feeds them lunch every day. And then we decided we would go out and hunt another field in the afternoon. And it was a pretty large field, too. Late season roosters are challenging to get into gun range, and we had observed several already well aware of our presence and flying toward the tree line. And it appeared the roosters could take advantage of the shorter grass and open areas if they chose to make a run for it. Matt enjoys making television, and for the afternoon hunt, he took up the camera as Zach loaded and shouldered his over and under.
I won't tell anybody, but who's your favorite son, really? I mean,
Depends on the hour.
It depends on the hour. Which one's the best shot?
Well, I kind of changed my mind about that too today.
What are you carrying today?
Well, I'm carrying a Benelli 20 gauge ultralight. It's kind of a special gun because when I retired from the Division of Criminal Investigation after 32 years, this was a gift that they gave me on my retirement. So they knew I was going to spend a lot more time in the upland chasing my bird dogs. So this was one of the gifts that I got when I retired, and so it's been with me in the field pretty much every time I go in the field now. So, and the fact that it weighs 5 pounds doesn't hurt anything.
On the far edge of this field was a 15-foot mowed swath. Then without complaint, I took that position on the first push.
Have me take the mowed path. Can you imagine that? I'm not going to complain about it.
It's just out of respect. It's out of respect.
After putting on several miles in the morning hunt, this shorter and thinner cover sure was a blessing for these old knees. Against my better judgment, it seemed a lot of excellent cover was being missed to my right side, and possibly along with it some smart roosters that were willing to let us pass. I decided to leave the easy path and move over into the taller cover. The dogs seemed to be closing in.
That's a good one. Seriously, Rick?
That's what I say.
All right, pick it up.
Exactly.
After a long walk, we had managed to only knock down one rooster. We know there were more there. We'd seen them earlier. We just had to find them.
And when Darren and I were leading the pack in, we saw 8 roosters go into the cedar trees, 5 there, and then 3 go down along the railroad track. So I think our best plan is just get out there and let the dogs do their thing.
Darren and Richard said, you got to head for those cedar trees. I think there's probably going to be some birds up there. And it looked like it was quite a ways in the distance. I was like, really? Can we ride? Can we ride that far? We completed this long march towards these cedar trees, hoping that when we got there, all our efforts were going to be rewarded. didn't take long before Richard and Darren walk into this big covey of quail.
Whoa, whoa.
Quail got up right here.
About 50 foot from the truck.
I got a
Covey
point over
quail.
there. There's a covey of quail, and they went down this hedgerow. We're going to go down the hedgerow, see if we can get them up again.
And what was interesting is they came up at different times. You'd get a flush of multiple birds, and then there'd be a period of time, and then more birds would come up after that. And so about the time you thought it was all over, more birds came up again.
We just jumped a huge covey of quail right in here amongst these cedars, and Darren got one down, and we're going to try to get weight on it.
I remember Matt had a camera. I think he was running a camera at the time, and said something about, okay, what's about to happen here? And I said, well, we think there's some quail on this cedar tree line here. And I don't think I'd even said that. I got it out of my mouth when this rooster, I almost stepped on him. I mean, he came right up in front of me. The old boy got right up in front of me, and I admit it was close. But my shot found the rooster just before Travis. That bird flew straight out in front of me, almost like daring me to see if I could shoot him, and I dropped him with one shot.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
Well, I was pretty sure.
That's under dispute?
I was pretty sure, even though I fired my shot, and I remember that hitting the bird and the bird starting to spin. He was going down, and then all of a sudden there was this obliteration of feathers and whatever
else. That was my shot.
That was your shot. Even though originally I think you had disputed whether or not.
So you basically winged it, and I finished it.
Okay.
I put it out.
Well, what's really nice, we've had these arguments in the field before during hunts when we've hunted together about who actually.
What happens all the time?
Well, who actually shot that bird, and I will admit that my reaction time's not as good as it once was, perhaps, but I know I got that bird. I think we go to the instant replay.
Unfortunately, there was an instant replay.
We're going to slow it down. Let's slow it down, and we'll see who actually got the first shot on that bird.
And who killed it.
I rest my case.
Good job.
There's more quail, hold on. There's more quail. Go. There might be. I think Hank brought one back too. Oh, yeah. Hit one back. I think Travis got him. I got one. I'm ducking.
Lots of quail going down all different directions. And I just tried to keep my head down. I was kind of on the inside, and I just tried to kind of stay out of the way and help the guys find some dead ones here. We think we got another bird down here somewhere.
That's why I love quail hunting. Oh, yeah. It'll piss you off, them quail will.
That's the way to end the day right there.
Yeah.
Well, the first full day of hunting in Kansas has certainly lived up to its billing. The guys at Triple Creek Outfitters and Major League Bow Hunter have been a blast.
It's a great day for all of us. We really appreciate you guys inviting us down.
Well, it's a pleasure, and it's always enjoyable for me to get guys out here who've never been to Kansas and don't know how great our bird hunting is. Our quail and our pheasants and the cover. We have an awesome cover, and I really enjoy just getting you guys out here and giving you your first opportunity.
We'll certainly are looking forward to tomorrow, and for everybody back in Iowa and other parts that watch our show. If you haven't hunted Kansas, you haven't hunted.
Well, that's good. I'm wondering after 6 miles today and a trip over the hills out there, you gonna be able to move tomorrow?
I'm gonna have to having a little leave cocktail, I think, tonight to get ready for tomorrow.
You took a heck of a fall out there.
I did. You got some pretty big holes around
We
here.
did. Them coyotes and badgers will dig some big holes.
And, you know, I've fallen a few times, but that one felt like it's pretty deep. And but you know, as they say, when there wasn't any bone sticking out, so we're good to go.
There you go.
I just am afraid that maybe they got it on camera and I'm going to see it again.
Well,
Over and over.
Back at bird camp, we fed some tired and hungry setters. After a long day in the field, it's important to get the setters rehydrated. With another day to go, what do the boys have up their sleeves? Check out part 4 of our hunt with Triple Creek Outfitters in St. John, Kansas.
Sweet Point Setter Tales is brought to you with support from our sponsors.
Hi, I'm Wade Kisner with Sweet Point Setter Tales. Do you have an interesting story idea for a future episode? We'd love to hear about it. Drop us a line at sweetpointsetters.com.